As someone who talks about films on YouTube and also makes films himself, I am in a position where I know exactly what it's like to go through the pain and the effort of making a film. It's not easy, and so I have so much respect for people who are dedicating weeks and months and if not years of their lives to making this one project. And even if that piece doesn't turn out well, I still feel like their dedication and their efforts should still be recognized. And so when I talk about films on YouTube, even bad ones, especially bad ones, I always try to keep in mind the fact that so many people have dedicated so much of their lives to working on this film, to making this piece come to life. And it's unfortunate that it might not turn out well, but I still respect them for doing so. Pretty much everything I have just said will not apply to The Last Airbender because I'm going to tear this film apart like there is no tomorrow. Let's talk first about my personal experience seeing this movie for the first time. I was a huge fan of the Avatar: The Last Airbender series long before the film came out, and I still am. It's probably my favourite animated show ever, with only Clone Wars or Batman the Animated Series coming anywhere close. So of course I was pretty excited for this film. So you know, when you're a kid, you don't really know how to judge a film, you don't really know what makes a good film good. If there's explosions and colours, then it's probably good, and if it's a lot of talking, then it's probably bad. Well, The Last Airbender was the first time I saw a movie in cinemas and thought to myself, that's bad. And I mean, when a 9-year-old can say that your movie is objectively bad, well then that's a pretty big fucking red flag in my opinion. But the film isn't completely bad. There are some redeemable qualities, so let's go through a couple of them first. James Newton Howard's score is pretty good. The cinematography, this film is shot by Andrew Lesnie, who also shot the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is just, I mean, the visuals speak for themselves, and here there are some really nice shots, but then you've got stuff like this, which is just clearly underlit. I mean, Kubrick was able to light nighttime scenes with nothing but candlelight back in the 70s, and this film with a $150 million budget couldn't even light scenes properly. I also do kind of like the way they adapted Aang's tattoos for the film. I mean, painting a blue line onto him probably wouldn't have translated super well into live action. Also, Uncle Iroh is not that bad. He's a completely different character from the series, but those who have seen the series know that he's kind of like an Asian Jeff Bridges or a Woody Harrelson, but this version is pretty calm and composed and I don't mind it. Finally, the opening scene is pretty decent. It's a great homage to the original series, so yeah. But then everything goes to shit once this title crawl comes in, and all hope is lost once she pronounces Avatar.
The Avatar was...
It's the beginning of many. Let's move on,
And the next movie is Earth, and then Fire, and then that's when I come a fully realized Avatar.
Honestly, I think the funniest joke in the entire film is the fact that they thought they were actually going to make this into 3 films. What a bunch of idiots. I mean, first things first, we have to address the fact that Sokka is a complete dick in this film. He's not funny at all, he has no charisma, he's just a massive idiot without any endearing qualities whatsoever.
My brother and I live in the Southern Water Tribe, which was once a big city. Our father's off fighting in the war. My mother was taken prisoner and killed when I was young.
Katara is also just this painful exposition machine. You know how voiceover can be done really well in some films to convey the character's personality, to show the story through their eyes? Well, don't expect it from this film. Moving on.
He's trying to eat me!
He's trying to eat me? That's his tail, you dipshit. Oh, almost forgot. I'm usually not too fussed about casting white people in non-white roles. I do believe that, for the most part, whoever gives the best performance should get the role, but because they are adapting a story in which the characters are clearly non-white, The Last Airbender's casting would be like casting me as Batman. Now, I would love to play Batman, but as a Batman fan myself, it would just be going against decades of traditions, and it would just be really wrong and really stupid, and no. Just no. And also, skin colour aside, what pisses me off is these fuckers cannot act to save their lives. Just look at this shit.
How'd you get all the way out here?
I ran away from home. We got in a storm. We were forced under the water of the ocean.
Oh, I see.
It wasn't very smart. I was just upset. Thanks for saving me.
Lucky.
And of course, we have to talk about the great writing with this iconic line.
Bring me all your elderly!
He told us how he left there in a storm on Appa, and got forced into the ocean where they almost drowned.
Oh, fuck me, I can't take much more of this voiceover. Is it just me, or is every single line of dialogue in this film just information? There's nothing that contributes towards character development, or just, you know, normal people talking. It's just all exposition, and it's just very, very painful to watch.
Is it okay if you tell me your name?
The monks named me Ang.
The character of Aang in this film was also very unfaithful to the series, and basically they take everything away from him that makes him great. The thing that sets him apart from others is his ability to recognize that the weight of the world rests upon him, but is still able to retain the earnest, childlike view of things and inspire people through his positivity. And of course, in this version, he has no personality whatsoever. And what the fuck are they doing with the spirit world? I mean, what is this? Who is this dragon? Where are all the past avatars like Roku? To be fair, this is one of the times I can forgive them, because I guess they kind of had to dumb it down for people who haven't seen the show. Where have we seen this guy from?
Stop! Stop! Parker, you're late, man! Always late!
Oh, fuck me, not this little shit. And this guy, I mean,
He was bending tiny stones at us from behind a tree. It really hurt.
He can bend earth?
To be fair, this is kind of funny, not because the joke lands, but because it's fun to see this pathetic excuse for Sokka get mugged off yet again. Also in the series, the Earthbenders are kept in a prison made of metal so they can't bend their way out, which is genius, but in the film they don't fight because they're scared. Arguably, the toughest faction in the Last Airbender world doesn't fight because they're scared. I mean, again, M. Night, I love your knowledge and respect for the source material here, mate. Just great.
It kind of, it really, you know, kind of, it bends the genre. Eh?
Let's talk about the action scenes for a minute. Shyamalan is of course known for his great long take sequences, so I guess he wanted to use them in the action scenes. Now I love long takes just as much as the next guy, but not everything should be done in a long take, and this film is evidence for that. I mean, we've got some pretty decent stuff like this, where the long take helps to show Zuko's unflinching rage, but then we get shit like this. It's just hilariously bad. Let's compare it to a half-decent fight scene in which, just like The Last Airbender, we've got 3 characters fighting off a large number of people in a crowded area with a long take. So both scenes do a relatively good job of setting up geography as the characters walk in. One location is a stylish casino. You see they can do interesting things when they fight in interesting places, and this one is just some ground. Imagine how cool it would have been if they fought in a giant metal prison island. Oh wait. This fight is well choreographed, you know what they're fighting for, there's a genuine sense of tension, and with the exception of this painfully obvious fake cut, the long take part of it works pretty damn well. Also, instead of just circling around the characters in a couple of simple pans, the camera work in Black Panther is actually dynamic. Also, the way they depict earthbending is just pathetic. I mean, this? I mean, when you just look at how beautifully simple everything is here, the fight itself is very intricate, it's fast, energetic, exciting. I guess it is Donnie Yen and Jet Li, but come on. Look at the bending on the show, it's beautiful. Each kind has their own little nuances, it's fast moving and graceful at the same time. Just look at some of the beats in this fight. And then look at this.
Leave him alone!
Anyway, back to the film. This exchange is so strangely shot, it's like uncomfortably close. It's almost as if they shot it in a 185 aspect ratio then cropped it down. When you look at a film like Birdman, which has really super close-ups, it's to show the intimacy of a scene or to really put you up close and personal in the confrontations. But here it's just awkward. And what the fuck were they thinking with the casting of Fire Lord Ozai? This is him in the series, and the film gives us this. I also feel the need to make a joke about this kid's hair.
His hair's greasier than Joffrey's cunt.
Another little detail I noticed is how this guy sticks his hand out without turning around a couple seconds, you know, for extra dramatic effect before the soldier drops money in the pouch in his hand. Back to the shit action, I guess. And oh, look, it's Zuko. What a great Shyamalan twist, oh yeah. Let's talk about Zuko actually, because we haven't done that yet. He is without a doubt one of the greatest fictional characters over the last couple decades. He's got one of the best character arcs ever. There are about 20 video essays on YouTube that can attest to that. And of course the movie version, played by Oscar nominee and all-around great guy Dev Patel, is written like one of those man babies who goes on a rage at the slightest hint of rejection.
This is a warship!
We arrived at the Northern Water Tribe. We presented ourselves to the royal court. My brother and the princess became friends right away.
Such a low point, you fucking loser.
We can't have one of these movies without a forced romance that comes out of nowhere. I mean, like, they meet, and then they eye fuck straight away, then boom, that's it, they're in love, perfect relationship, done. I mean, this is one of the things from the show that they could have cut, but then that would mean that Sokka would be in the film for no reason, but then again, he had nothing to do in the first place except for delivering some of cinema's worst lines of dialogue.
So, are you the Avatar Ong?
Oh god, not this! Not this as well! Oh Jesus!
Now, I don't want to get too nitpicky, but this scene makes no sense. You've got Sokka walking into a scene with Aang and the princess already there. Then he walks up to the princess and says,
I needs to ask you something.
I have to talk to the dragon spirit.
but he was already there the whole time. Couldn't he speak for himself? Oh, that's right, they had to give Sokka something to do.
It bends the genre.
I always knew you returned.
What?
Me too.
I actually do kind of like Uncle Iroh in this film. To really get with the times, he reminds me of a nicer version of John Malkovich from Bird Box, in that he's literally right about everything, but no one believes him.
Walk away.
Are you a simpleton?
Oh no, this girl is gonna die, and they expect it to be a big moment despite the fact that they've spent no time building the character and the relationship.
What a Greek tragedy!
Why would they do this?
Okay, the score is really good. James Newton Howard is a genius. I mean, say what you will about the film, but M. Night does know how to do his triumphant moments. Just go watch Unbreakable. He is really good at that stuff. And I guess this scene is decent because, you know, they set up earlier that he didn't bow before his people. But, you know, he's bowing back now, which is good. I'll give credit where credit is due. It would have been a good ending, actually. But, of course, this being a studio movie, so they had to end it by setting up a sequel. A sequel that will never happen. Anyway.
He's a movie bender.
He's a movie bender, he's a film bender, exactly.
The Last Airbender is my least favourite movie of all time. Not because of the terrible writing, the terrible directing, the terrible acting, but because, like so many remakes, it doesn't get what made the original great. What made the series great was a passion for the world, for complex characters, a passion for imaginative fight scenes, and diverse stories with vibrant settings, and a genuine sense of heart throughout the whole thing. All things that this movie does not have, and that is why The Last Airbender movie is my least favourite movie of all time.